if you, we'll just turn this on, this is audio and video recorded, you alright with that?
Yep.
Okay. We'll do our best to try to get you the cigarette.
Yeah, we got cigarettes somewhere, so try to work on that, okay? Before we have any conversations, I'm just gonna have you read something, okay? And then we'll just go from there. Alright, just so you know, because you're under arrest right now, I have to read you this stuff, or you have to read it to me. Again, Detective Riley, Detective Dunleavy. It's January 4th, 2022. It's 8:55 p.m. You can read and write English, correct? Okay. So, Adam, I'm going to have you start from there, where it says I, and then I'm just going to have you read down.
I, Adam Montgomery, has a right to remain silent.
Well, start from here. I, Adam Montgomery,
Give the following voluntary statement. Detective Dunleavy, Detective Riley, who has identified himself as a member of the Manchester, New Hampshire Police Department. He has advised me the following: I have the right to remain silent. Anything I say can be used against me in the court of law. I have the right to a lawyer for advice before any questioning, and to have one with me during questioning. If I cannot afford a lawyer, one will be appointed to me by the court. If I decide to answer questions now without my lawyer present, I still have the right to stop answering at any time. Do you understand? Yes.
Okay. Do you understand all of these, 1 through 5?
Yep.
Okay. What I'm going to have you do, just initial 1 through 5. That just indicates that you understand what I'm saying, all right?
Yep.
All right. Can you just read that line
Do
for
you
me?
understand each of these rights? Yep.
And you're going to check either yes or no? All right. And then read the next line for me.
Are you willing to have each of these rights? And are you willing to waive each of these rights and answer questions? Sure.
Okay. Now, Adam, you're just going to sign that line. All right. Appreciate it.
Before we go forward, can we get a cigarette in here?
So, there's a sensor in there. So I'll work on getting you a cigarette at some point. I can't promise you one right now, just because the room we're in, and if this starts going off, I don't want to flood the building. You know what I mean?
Do you think they were gonna go off?
That thing will, the sprinkler. So, but at some point we'll work on getting you. I know we have cigarettes in here. I know where they are. Okay, you hear what I'm saying?
Yeah.
All right. Do you need a water?
I don't need nothing.
You good? Okay. Are you okay?
No, I'm not okay.
Okay. What's not okay?
Nothing. What's up?
All right. So I'm just gonna ask you some basic questions. You said you can read and write English, correct?
Yep.
All right. Can you just state your full name for me?
Adam Montgomery.
And Adam, what's your birthday?
1/22/90.
And what address are you using to
I'm
call?
not using any.
Okay. What phone number are you using?
I don't have one.
Okay. What was the highest level of education?
GED.
Okay. Where'd you graduate high school from?
I did. I got a GED.
No, but I know. But like, where'd you get
While I
that?
was incarcerated.
Okay. Right now, are you under the influence of any drugs or alcohol?
No.
Okay. Do you have any traumatic brain injuries or anything like that? Anything that prohibits you from recalling any memories or anything like that?
Not that I know of.
Alright. Alright. So we've met before, right? We met the other day. I know you've had a long time down here. You've kind of been a roller coaster. I'm going to apologize for what happened out there. That's not how I do business, okay? That had nothing to do with me. Those are guys that like to play G.I. Joe, alright? If it had been up to me and I could have gotten a hold of you some way, I would have reached out to you. But you don't have a phone, right?
You guys could have just told my wife you wanted me to come in.
But aren't you not supposed to be talking to your wife?
No, that's bullshit.
It's not. You're not supposed to?
No, I can't be.
Thank you, look at that.
I can't be.
I guess they're gonna let you smoke a cigarette here. They must have talked to somebody.
So I don't know why who's saying I can't talk to my wife, because that's bullshit.
Maybe it's some old paperwork that somebody saw.
Yeah, from last year, but it was over and done with after I got out of jail.
So that's all clear.
DCYF said it was cleared up, the police said it was cleared up, everybody said it was cleared. They said that there was no contact order between me and her.
Okay, and that's Kayla we're talking about. Okay. Well, you know what, if that's the case, then that's my fault for maybe not checking a little bit further into it, so I apologize for that. Again, I apologize for the way things went down out there. Like I said, I'm not part of the SWAT team, I don't do that stuff. If I had had a good number for you, I would have just called you in, but I don't have it, you don't have a phone, you said, right? Okay. So I apologize for that. I do appreciate you being cooperative with me. You've never given me a hard time. I know we've only met a few times, so thank you for that. Let's talk about why we're here to talk.
Tell me what you want to say.
Tell me what you know.
I don't know nothing.
Well, what was our conversation about the other day?
You said you had a couple questions you wanted to ask me. You asked me the questions.
Well, what was our conversation about the other day? Remember we met, I mean, you remember that, it was only, what, a few days ago, right? We had a lot of worried people and scared people right now in the community. I know you're worried about the well-being of your daughter, and I kind of want to get ahead of this because I don't want you to be painted as a monster.
Well, that's what you guys are already doing.
I am?
No, we're not.
Oh, yeah.
Can you explain that to me?
That's what you guys are already trying to do, man.
Explain to me how I'm trying to make you, or whoever is trying to make you out to be a monster. Who's telling you that stuff? Is there somebody that I work with that told you that? Somebody you're close with, have they told you that?
No.
Alright. But you understand this whole thing is getting a little out of hand, would you agree?
Of course. But
So that's why,
look, it's just the way you guys are going about it.
and again,
Yeah,
I don't
not you specifically, but
Right.
yeah, nobody comes out there like that for a second-degree assault charge. Nobody. But for worse charges, they don't come out and throw fucking flashbangs at my girlfriend's car and ram us into the fucking guardrail. They don't do that. For a second-degree assault charge.
again, you understand what the charges are, right?
Second-degree assault, right?
Yep.
Okay,
There's also an endangering the welfare charge
okay.
and interference with custody. Okay,
So how did I interfere with custody?
So that paperwork that we served you the other day, you remember that?
Okay,
When they were in the alleyway, you remember outside of on Lake Ave?
yeah.
There's paperwork that you have to comply with. You understand that, right? We had that conversation, did we not? Right? So that's what that's all about.
So second-degree assault charge, what is this referring to?
Well, that's what we want to talk to you about.
Well, explain to me what if I'm being charged with it. What the hell am I being charged with it for?
Well, your daughter had some injuries
What?
that you know about when you lived on Guilford Street.
No, I do not. What are you referring to?
Well, you were there, I wasn't, right?
What are you referring to?
I'm referring to her having some good marks.
What are you referring to?
Marks that were left on her by you.
Absolutely not. I have nothing else to say.
Like
No.
we talked about how we were worried about your daughter the other day, right?
Okay.
You remember that conversation?
I remember that conversation, but right off the rip, with the way you're approaching the conversation, you guys are completely out of line. So,
Me?
yeah.
Do I? In the time that you've known me, which
What
is
you just said to me, you guys are completely out of line.
okay, but so explain to me how are we out of line?
I have nothing to explain.
Okay, but wouldn't you rather explain it so we can make sense of it than just have other people's side of the story? Like, you want to defend yourself and like this picture people are painting of you. Now's your chance, man. Defend
Whose side of the story? Who's telling you these things?
people that were close to you.
Obviously not.
Well, maybe at the time, maybe not anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, you saw that reward on the news, right?
No, I did not.
do you know that the reward is about $40,000 to find where your daughter is right now?
Okay.
When you start throwing money around like that, people come out of the woodwork that you would never expect to do.
Okay.
So, like I said, when I talked to you a few days ago,
Can I have another cigarette?
sure, I kind of told you this thing was going to get a lot bigger.
That's not right.
And we wanted to get ahead of it.
But you're sitting there telling me that right off the rip that there was something wrong with my daughter because of me. No, that's bullshit.
Okay. So if your daughter had marks on her at some point when you lived over there, how would you explain those?
How would she have gotten those marks?
Well, I would love to know when that marks were there because DCYF came to my house multiple times.
Okay. And we know that they came there.
Right. And closed the case.
Okay. Do we know that DCYF is the flagship agency in the country?
No, but if there was significant marks like you're referring to, I believe they would have flagged something at that point, and they would have said something. They wouldn't have came there and seen that the kids were well taken care of. All the kids loved being at the house with me.
So let me tell you about what second degree assault is. Because there's a lot that encompasses that charge. Basically, if there's a mark on a kid that's under a certain age, it constitutes second degree assault. Although it is a felony, which sounds extremely intimidating, it doesn't mean that somebody got their head bashed in or they got cut up or whatever. So, although it sounds pretty intimidating, the charge, I understand that. What we're talking about doesn't mean that it's the craziest crime that's ever been committed. Do you understand what I mean?
Okay.
So, somebody could have a bruise or a really bad welt on them, and that would constitute second degree assault for a kid under a specific age. So that's why that charge is there. So nobody is saying that you took like a baseball bat or like stabbed your kid. Like, I'm just going to put that out there. That is not what anybody's saying about you.
Mm-hmm.
So I know you're concerned with when I say second degree assault, but it sounds a lot worse than I think you're thinking it is. Are we kind of on the same page?
Yeah, but for you to sit there and say that it was inflicted because of me.
We're just going on what we hear. You're not telling us how, so we're going with what we have.
But I don't even know what you're referring to. What are you referring to?
Your daughter had a mark on her face that multiple people, have told us was inflicted by you.
Multiple people that weren't even living with us at the time.
Well, there was enough people that had spoken about it.
Yeah.
People share knowledge of what they know.
So somebody, you telling him, and then he tells you, and then he tells you, so something that just
No,
gets
it's-
passed down the line.
Yeah, I'm not talking about like a game of telephone here. I'm saying that people say a story and then the details kind of fill themselves in, like corroborate. Do you know what the word corroborate means?
Of course I do.
Okay. You're a smart guy. I'm not trying to insult your intelligence, but when people kind of fill in the blanks, that's what I mean by like we're corroborating that story. But this is your time to tell me, kind of explain that. You know, if you're saying this was a mistake or this was an
I don't
accident.
even know what you're referring to. Like, that's what I'm trying to get at, is I don't even know what you're referring to.
I'm saying she had a mark on her face. I mean,
Okay, I don't even know what you're referring to.
you don't recall your daughter ever having a mark on her face?
The reason DCYF came out to visit you guys, you don't recall that? Why did DCYF come out and start visiting you guys? What was the allegation?
If I remember correctly, it was because of, I believe at the time, I could be wrong, I believe it had something to do with my uncle saying I was using drugs, and I wasn't.
Now, who's your uncle, so we are clear?
Kevin
Okay. And Kevin's last name?
Montgomery.
Now, he lived there with you?
He lived there with me right around the time when I was first going back to get custody from my daughter.
Okay.
And then he left, and
like, because I don't want to guess or like get confused. What house are we talking about?
Guilford Street.
All right, and what was the number there again?
I'm not 100%.
Okay. Do you remember what color the house was at least?
Beige, maybe.
Okay. And whose house was that originally?
My grandmother's.
All right. And grandma is who?
Kevin's mother.
Kevin's mother.
My dad's mother.
Okay. So was it the Montgomery group living over on Guilford Street?
Yeah, and they all moved out. My grandmother moved out in like January with my little brother, and they all moved down to Florida, and then Kevin went a couple months later.
And so grandma, uncle Kevin, you said little brother, and who's he?
My father's son, Michael.
So Michael, that's what I meant. Like, what's his first name?
Yeah, and his girlfriend.
And his girlfriend. And is he still with that same girl now?
I have no idea.
Oh, so you don't talk to Michael anymore?
No.
Okay. What was that girl's name at the time? Because maybe she can help us to say that, like, this is...
Kayla, I believe.
So Michael's girlfriend's name was Kayla at the
Yeah.
time? And you dated a Kayla at the time?
Yeah.
So it kind of got confusing in the house if somebody was yelling for Kayla?
Yeah.
Okay. So, what was Kayla? Kayla you were with at the time was...
My wife.
Okay, Montgomery. And then Kayla he was with is...
I have no
idea who she was. Okay, so there was grandma and Kevin, they moved out in when?
Grandma moved out in like...
I'm just trying to think of people we can talk to.
I'm
like,
trying to
kinda
figure it out.
corroborate that
I'm
stuff,
trying
you
to
know what I mean?
figure it out to go back. Like I think we moved over. Thank you. I think we moved over there. I think we moved over there in like, I don't know, October, September, somewhere around then.
And what year is that?
2018.
Okay.
And at the time, I was going for custody for my daughter for at least a year already at that point. And Crystal was showing no interest of going to get our daughter back. So finally, in like I don't know, December, January, February, something along them lines, courts called me and told me I could come pick her up and bring her home. Brought her home. And then, I don't know, it was, I think the month before, my grandmother left with my brother and his girlfriend, and then the month after, I want to say, Kevin left.
So then who was left living at the house?
Me, Kayla, and the kids.
In that time period, I don't know which kids were born yet and who was...
It was Declan and Seamus.
Okay,
And then Harmony moved in with us.
Okay. So what time did DCYF get involved with you guys? Like, were they over there often, or was it just like a certain period of time, or?
They were there every single day. The police showed up every single day, saying they
Why
did
were they
because that's what it was. That's what it was due. That's what it was due to. So Kevin moved out because between me and my wife and Kevin, we were supposed to like pay the bills, keep the heat on, the gas on, whatever. Well, Kevin was supposed to pay the electric bill. He didn't pay the electric bill. Me and my wife, I picked my wife from work and showed up at home. They were shutting the electricity off. So me and Kevin got into an argument about not paying the bill.
Yeah.
And he took his shit and moved out. And then so the next day, or 2 days later, something like that, I don't know, DCYF showed up and the police showed up because they said that we were unfit to have the children at the house because there was no electricity in the house.
Okay.
But we had a generator running, we had the fridge hooked up to it, there was food in the fridge, everything was fine. The police showed up, seen that the kids was fine, there was nothing wrong with them. The DCYF showed up and they left.
And was that like summer, fall? Like when was that?
I want to say maybe spring, going into summer maybe.
Oh, okay, so like, you guys hadn't been there for too long then.
6 months or so.
Okay. And how did it end up that you guys got kicked out of there?
All right, so it was my grandmother's house.
Right.
They didn't pay the mortgage or whatever. They moved to Florida, so the mortgage payments weren't being paid. And I don't know, right around Thanksgiving sometimes, the sheriffs came and threw us out. And then me, Harmony, and Declan, Seamus, and Kayla left.
And where the heck did you guys go from there?
We were in our car
Oh, so you lived in your car at that time?
for a couple of days.
Okay.
And then
Did you have like a van or something like that back then at least? What were you driving back then?
a Chrysler of some kind, I forget.
Oh, so it was just like a
A
sedan?
car sedan, yeah.
Okay, so you live in the car, so you, Kayla, and the 3 kids were living in the car for a few days, and then how'd you get up out of that situation? Like who took you in, or where'd you guys end up?
We ended up going to her mom's house, Kayla's mom's house.
Okay, and what's her name?
Chris.
Chris, how's she? Well, I mean, she must be okay. Is she willing to take you guys in?
Yeah, alright, they're like, alright, you know what, man, like, I don't even wanna talk anymore, like, this is just beating around the bush, man, it just seems a little too silly to me.
Well, I'm trying to figure out who can substantiate your claims that there's, like, you're not this, like, monster of a person that either DCYF made you out to be, or your family who you didn't get along with, or whoever. So that's why I'm trying to, like, let you kind of speak your piece about
Yeah,
all that shit, you know what I mean?
no, I get what you're saying, I just got nothing else to say, man. And like, no, yeah, and like, I just don't wanna sit there and like, can I smoke another butt?
Sure. I'll be honest, I don't smoke cigarettes. I'm a little lightheaded myself.
I just know I
That's
smoke nuts for a minute.
That's all good.
But yeah, no, you,
So, but yeah.
but to sit there, man, and sit there and tell me you yourself too, like, this is why I feel like it's just all bullshit, this is just a game, I know it is, I'm not stupid, you fucking,
We're just trying to give you the opportunity to explain yourself.
you're sitting here telling me not to make me out to look like some monster,
Well,
but
no,
you told my girlfriend the other day that she should get the fuck away from me, that you don't even know who I am, and what my past is like, and all types of crazy shit, like, but sit there and look me in my face, and
Adam, I think, are you talking about Kelsey?
Yeah.
Okay. I think Kelsey might be exaggerating a little bit.
I don't know her to exaggerate like that.
It wasn't us talking to Kelsey either.
Oh,
There was
other people talking to her, just so you know.
She told me, she gave me your card and said this was the guy that said it.
Okay. Well, I'm telling you that I didn't say that. But if you want to believe it, that's fine.
I mean, she never had no reason to lie to me, so I don't know what she would lie about at that point.
She also told me she had no idea that you had a daughter, so I guess we could say the same thing about you telling her that.
Right, well,
Right?
she knew I had a daughter. I mean, I have one with Kayla, so she knew I had a daughter.
She didn't know about Harmony.
She knew I had other kids.
She told me she had no idea that you ever like lived with her and that you like barely knew her. I don't know if she was lying to me because or whatever. I have no idea. I don't know her. I know you better than her, so that's what I'm saying. So Christina takes you guys in, and she's doing all right. And then would you guys move over to Union Street after that? Is that when you guys get that spot?
Nope, we go to the shelter.
And that's the one on.
Like, yeah.
Okay.
Who's we? Who went to the shelter? They allowed you to go as a family to the shelter?
See, I thought they didn't like guys there for some reason.
They always let guys there. They didn't let me in there this time for no reason. Their reason was bullshit, because I would have been there with Kayla again.
So back then they let you in there.
Yeah, yeah.
And it was all of you guys, like, it was the
5.
of you, they let you guys stay there?
No. Alright, see, yeah, you guys are just...
I'm trying to understand. I don't know your timeline of life, man. You're there. I'm not. That's why I'm trying to ask you these questions to clarify them.
I already told you the other day what transpired. So we didn't even go to her mother's house.
Okay. Who didn't go to her mother's
Harmony
house?
was all.
Okay, so Harmony didn't go to Chris's house. So explain to me how she didn't end up going to Chris's house.
I've already explained this to you.
Okay.
Well, there's some discrepancies between what you're telling us and what other people are telling us. You're saying you brought her down to Mass, that somebody said she came up from Mass.
I never once said I brought it down to Mass.
What did you say? She came up here to get her?
I never once said. I was audio and video recording the other day. I never once said I went down to Mass.
So you're saying that she came up from Mass?
I'm not saying anything else.
Why is it that you refuse to talk about her every time we bring her up?
Because you guys are just sitting here beating a bush. It's over and over. You guys asked me what happened the other day. I told you what happened.
You wouldn't tell us the other day.
You guys talked to me the other day. I explained to him what happened the other day, and now it was just a charade. Yep. No, don't worry about it. You're not under arrest, and I'll come up with some fucking bullshit.
We didn't arrest you.
No, the other day. No, but then
you
you
were
had a
free to
fucking
go.
SWAT team roll up on me, and the fucking D-Techs follow me around for the last 3 days.
Yeah, people are coming out of the woodwork. That's what we're trying to tell you. Like, we don't want you to be painted as a monster. We want you to maybe explain yourself a little bit and give us some side of your story. We have nothing. We have just what we're hearing from people. $40,000 can drag a lot of people out, whether you believe you're friends or not.
No, I bet
It's a lot of money.
Yeah, I know it is. Absolutely, it is.
That's what we're trying to get. Now's your time. Like, you keep locking up on us. You don't want to tell us anything about her.
I got nothing else to say.
I think you